Marijuana is likely a normal good, at least according to a study of high school seniors in the 1980s, showing a positive relationship between use in the last 30 days and income. Research since then has come to similar conclusions, although marijuana's income elasticity of demand is usually less than 1 in the literature, indicating inelasticity to changes in income. We'd find that elasticity by dividing the change in the quantity of weed demanded by the change in someone's income. It seems that making more or less money isn't a big determinant of how much cannabis you'll consume. You could imagine this is the case for most controlled substances, though. Coming into a windfall of cash doesn't rationally lead to splurging on any single good, but especially doesn't make sense when it comes to goods with thresholds of pleasure and safety. After all, your usage frequency of drugs, illicit or not, is hardly incentivized by market forces. Take a legal drug like insulin, for example. Most economists agree that insulin is as close as you'll get to what we likely would call a perfectly inelastic good. Your demand for insulin is determined by biological factors, and within a realistic range, the price of insulin will not spur you to deviate from your medically prescribed regimen. This is part of why the price of insulin can seem to keep climbing despite the toll it's taking on people across the country. What can people do but pay up? That doesn't happen in markets for commodities like wheat, corn, or milk, which are closer to being described as perfectly elastic. The willingness of the market's demand side to purchase any of these generic products at a higher than normal price is almost non-existent. Why would they, when someone else is extremely likely to sell them the same product at the normal market price? At that price, producers can sell nearly as much of their commodity as they can produce. Could the insulin market become like this? Perfectly elastic? Unlikely, but something like an insulin biologic, in other words, a generic, molecularly identical version of one of the brand name insulins, could make the market more elastic. If the generic is cheaper to produce and navigates our PAM process well enough, it could reach the market at a relatively low price. The availability of competitive alternatives in the market would naturally force the price point down for pre-existing brands and give the demand side of the market some power in prescription choice.